Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to bring entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome home, wherever you are in the world, to USA Global TV and Radio. We celebrate world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and it's my absolute pleasure to be here for another episode of Coexistence and Sustainability, starring pet psychic AMINAH. Before I bring her out and our very special guest, I just want to share some exciting news for those of you who don't know. We are on a mission collectively for both of our YouTube channels to reach 100,000 subscribers by September 15th. And today, just minutes ago, our first channel, USA Global TV, has reached 38,000. We started a couple days ago at 37,895. So we are moving, and we'd love to have you join us. We also now have a private VIP community on our YouTube channel. It's VIP exclusive content, never before seen. We hope that you'll join us. Anywhere you go to our channel, look at any of our videos, you'll now see a join button. You can just click that join button to be part of our exclusive membership. Now let's get on with the show. Let us bring out the star of our show. She's been with me since the very beginning, and I've mentioned this before. I actually just went on LinkedIn and put in psychics and saw a number of people, and I was drawn to her. And we had a Zoom call, and the Zoom call, the technology wasn't working too well. And here we are over 3 years later. Our show has morphed from pet psychicking, if you will, to coexistence and sustainability. So here's the woman who's taught me so much. The reason why I stopped buying cut flowers, why I don't burn candles, why I don't use spray tan, why I don't use makeup, face towelettes. I could go on and on. It's all because of her. Welcome to the program.
I'm saving you millions.
You are. That's right. You're saving me so much money. I can't believe it. So,
and if everybody thinks about it, think about all the good you're doing to not only the whole world, but your skin and your hair and all that. All that stuff does do stuff to our hair. I know I had my hair permed for years. I was really burning the hairs there.
It's very true, all these different processes that we have. But you know, Pet Psychic AMINAH, today we have a guest. We haven't had a guest in a long time. We were just doing the show solo, and I had the pleasure, she was on one of our other programs, the Corner Bookstore, of asking her to come to this program because she's really passionate. She's a passionate advocate for bunnies. Her name is Katie Engelhart, and she is a Canadian storyteller from Montreal. She also speaks multiple languages: English, French, Italian, and Spanglish. And she's very well educated. She has a master's degree in fine arts and creative writing. Hello, say that again. Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing and a graduate certificate in script writing. She is also inspired by the Wizarding World, the Land of Narnia, and she penned her book, The Wise One. Let's welcome Katie to the show and find out about bunnies. Welcome.
I love this vibe.
It's so nice to have you. Tell our viewers and our listeners where exactly in the world you are.
That's a long story. So I'm from Montreal. I moved to Toronto right before the pandemic. Very terrible timing in 2019. Been here ever since, and we're actually moving now. We're going to get out of here. We're going to go still in Ontario, but a small town right outside Montreal. So I'll be close to family and friends, just an hour away. and I'll kind of be in the wilderness. I guess it goes with the topic of this today a little bit, like back to nature, you know?
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Pet Psychic AMINAH, where in the world are you?
I am in the sunny state of California.
Oh,
And, right in the middle. So we get a little bit of everything, and we're one of the most diverse places, even trees and plants and people. So it's neat. And yes, the Silicon Valley really exists.
Thank you, Pet Psychic AMINAH. I'm actually on an island in New Jersey. So we're in all different places with different
Wow.
experiences, but we are going to be talking about the world of bunnies. One thing I want to share, and then we'll go around, is next to our house, there's a lot that's owned by the borough and no one can build on it, but there's a bunny that lives there. And I couldn't believe it when I came back this year, because I'm not here all year. And there was the bunny. The bunny was still hopping around. I was so happy for it. So before we dive in, Pet Psychic AMINAH, tell us what we need to know about bunnies in the wild versus bunnies as pets.
Well, and I have personal knowledge, not just book knowledge, as we eke into things. I was in 4-H as a child. And if you don't know what that is, that's a wonderful youth program put on by the university system throughout the entire U.S. And they are in Europe. So I didn't want to have sheep and goats and all those things that I watched my other siblings have. Boy, that looked like a lot of work. I didn't really want to do that. And I loved hugging bunnies. So I was able to show them and raise them. And why do we have a place like the 4-H and Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, many other clubs for youth, is to teach them young that these lives matter. And what I'm doing now is telling the adults, all these lives matter. We might not know what the mosquito's mission in life is, because I really would rather not have anything to do with them. But there is a reason. Everything we have on planet Earth is connected. And when you care for an animal, I know Dr. Jacalyn's heard this a million times, when you care for that bird that broke its leg and you get it to a rescue center or whatever, you save lives. And all animals have a level where one thing they do affects the next thing that they touch, and the worm they eat and the nest they built. It all ties together. It's all one string. It's not 500.
Thank you very much. So when we think about bunnies in the wild versus bunnies that are pets, Katie, you have some friends of your own. Can you tell us, were they in the wild, or how did you come by them?
no, they were not. Well, I've had bunnies. Like I've had one when I was a kid, and up until very recently. Actually, he was. I wasn't a kid. That's a lie. I felt like a kid. I was like 20 years old when I got my bunny. Wow. And he lived 11 and a half years. His name was Magic. It's a little dwarf bunny. And before that, I did have one very briefly when I was a kid, but my parents didn't want pets or anything like that. We actually we gave them away pretty quickly. And ever since that point where I felt like I didn't properly take care of this bunny that I never got to really keep and nurture, I've been really it's very odd. I felt like I needed to correct that. And that's where Magic came in, and I kept him very long, and he was the happiest little thing. He had the whole house to himself, honest to God. He was he was the king of the castle. And when he passed, I couldn't shake the feeling that I can't not have bunnies. It was weird. I have this connection with them. It's I almost have connection with cats, and I love dogs. I'm a dog person. I have Nessie here with me too, but there's something about these creatures that fascinate me. And so I got these two little guys, brothers. Oh wait, where's my camera? Hold on. Sorry. There we go. There's one, Mr. Onyx, and there's Sterling. He is eating some hay. Sorry about the angle. It's not great. And I got them through someone who was giving them away because she rescued them from a reptile store that she worked at. Someone actually came in with them and said, I want to get rid of them. Feed them to your snakes. And this person was absolutely not. So she brought them back. There were several brothers and sisters. And then I caught her on a bunny group that I'm part of. Of course, I'm part of a bunny group. And she's like, you know, like I want to find these guys a home. And I said, I'll take 2. And so that's how that happened. But they were about to get swallowed up by some pythons. Yeah.
Yep.
Wait. So, Katie, I have to ask you, what is it's a bunny group, a bunny club? What is it?
It's like a Facebook group about, like, you know, like you ask questions to other bunny owners, like, oh, like, you know, why is my little guy doing this? And like, just like helping each other because they're mysterious. I'm sure we can talk a lot about how they communicate and what they're trying to say a lot of the time. And you have to be very careful, because if they get sick, it's like 24 hours later. If you don't like tend to them, they could die. Like, they're so sensitive. This little guy, Onyx, a couple months ago, he all of a sudden was not eating, was not pooping, just for a few hours, but super dangerous, because it's that their whole system is that they've got to they eat all day long. They've got to have hay at all times. They've got to be pooping at all times. I think the average is 100 poops a day. We're going to be saying poop a lot in this episode.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And people don't realize when they're like, oh, little creatures, it's like having a hamster, like whatever. No, these guys need space, time. It's a lot of money, the checkups, the like making sure they're okay. If they're acting weird, you got to bring them to the vet. Like, it's quite something. Yeah.
Well, and Katie, don't forget to let Dr. Jacalyn into this lovely bunny reality that you and I've lived. And their urine. What does their urine do? It burns through everything. It is so highly acidic.
That's
people don't realize. You wonder why the wire on part of the cage is going.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what they're eating. And where this is happening, so the pellets are no big deal. They can dry fairly easy. You pick them all up. It's a broom job. It's not a big deal. This is not a dog or cat eating protein. This is eating a herbivore, and a lot of people miss. Oh, they just eat grass. It'll be great. Have you met their urine yet? So no.
Where do they go? So where do they go to go to the bathroom? Do they have little pee pads or something?
Yeah, no, we put paper down usually, or shavings, right? You used one or the other?
Can I tell you what I use? So, so I started using the paper ones. It was like, you know, environmental is great. But Mr. Sterling has long hair, and it kept getting stuck on his butt. So I had to figure out, like, I'm like, what do I do? And then the bunny group saved me, and they said, you know, you go to Canadian Tire, you buy, I don't know how big this bag is. I should check it's a huge bag of the wood, what do you call it? Kindling, right?
Wood pulp or shavings. It depends on which
it's not for bunnies though. It's for like kindling a fire. Like I gotta find the exact bag, but it's the best. It's $7. It lasts forever. It's ginormous. And it's used as bunny litter too, and it absorbs really well. And it's not plastic or anything like that, so it's great.
Because you really have to be careful when you go outside of the industry. And she and I know there's tons of ways to go outside of what the pet stores sell. And they're not the king and queen of knowledge. They're a great resource. But what she's talking about is she asked and found out, okay, this shaving might be good. Well, what they process it with? Because you don't want a preservative on it. You don't want it already tainted with some kind of lacquer, because somebody needs pretty dirt or ladder, whatever it is. I mean, look at the cat industry, or anybody who's got a pet in their home. Usually it's a cat that has a litter box. Some of that litter smells like flowers or is puffy dust, and you're like, dude, we don't need all that. And it can be that pet becomes allergic to it because they've been exposed. So what she's talking about is really important, that you get the right shavings, is typical what bunnies get. And you can do newspaper, sure.
You can absolutely do just drink
and it comes to your house.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Katie, so your bunnies are they on the carpet, or I couldn't see? Are they each in individual cages?
I have no. So I keep their cage really open, and then I gate like the my whole office. So like honestly, so it's like this is their little hub, and then they even have the couch, which I catch them playing on a lot of the time. There's Nessie. She's dark. You don't see her very well. And I just give them like this closed in, like I give them half the office, and they're really good about not biting baseboards. Honestly, I'm very lucky. They're very calm. They're very, very calm.
That's
so
wonderful.
They have you also have a rescue dog, don't you?
Yes, that's Nessie. Yeah, I can grab her. She's Puerto Rican.
How does she get along?
And it's a great team. It's a great team. Bunnies are very social and are in groups. Guess what dogs are? Pack animals. So they will take on a bunny, a rabbit, a bird, dogs will take on a whole group and say, hey, this is my whole group. This is what I've got. And
they're pack animals, exactly.
When they're raised properly, and there's obviously differences in who swats who, because it could really hurt one of them. But you've got somebody like we have with Katie, is that you're well aware of what they need and what their love is, because some people just throw them all together and say, oh, they'll coexist. No, you want to with every person, you want to marry everybody's guy, girl? No. It has to be.
So right. So when I had Magic first, the little dwarf who lived 11 and a half years old, I had him first. And so when I got her, and thankfully she was a very calm dog. And I just knew when I picked her up at the shelter, I'm like, this she's a very soft, like kind of soul, you know? So I said, she's going to be totally fine with Magic. Actually, he's going to be dominating. And
Exactly.
Yeah. And she was always kind of like around him, like, is it okay? And he would tell her. Right. And so she was always delicate. And now with these guys, she loves playing with them. So once in a while, I'll like let them run around. But I can tell when they're like, okay, that's quite enough. And I'll be like, okay, Nezzy, like leave them alone. Now they're done with you.
Well, and it's teaching the stuff you're talking about. We talk about teaching your children, the humankind. And for us, these animals, I have the humankind too, but they're all grown up. I don't get to tell them anything. But it's putting those barriers of respect. You and I look at it and know and understand, and Dr. Jacalyn, you in your profession, respect. Well, these are introducing new ways of doing things. The dog does it this way and the cat does it this way, but guess what? The bunnies do it another way, and then you got an alligator or an iguana walking by, and they don't want to be licked. And the other one might love it. And so what I've always preached is find out who you have. Find out who your parrot is. Take the time to know your animal, and then you'll have less going back to the adoption center and saying, this didn't work out, and you'll save a life.
Yeah. Katie, you're getting ready to move. So how will that transition be for your furry friends that are moving with you?
Well, she's going to be happy. She loves, and like I bring her everywhere. So she's just used to like being, chauffeured around and like discovering other people's homes and meeting other people's pets. And she's really easy. And I think the bunnies are going to be great. Also so adaptable. And I don't think people give bunnies enough credit. Like, yes, they don't love the carrier, but once they're back in an environment that is familiar to them, I've found they're okay. Like they see where their bowl is, they see their water, they see their hay. They're like, they understand this is their place. Like, cause often I'll visit Montreal and I bring them, like the drive is 6 hours and I try to avoid it as much as I can. If I can get people to like sit them, I do, cause I don't want to move them, but they've been pretty good. Like, so I think the new house right away, they'll understand their space. I think they're going to be great. They'll be fine.
That's fabulous. Thanks for sharing that. I just want to say something to the two of you, and then we can talk about it as it applies to bunnies. Pet Psychic AMINAH, I know you and I have had conversations many times about people driving around with dogs in their car. I see it all the time. The dog is in the front seat with the owner and it's hanging. I'm thinking, I just want to go over and say to you, what are you doing? But I don't say it. But I saw something I have never seen before. It's a couple and they were in a truck and they had this netting over their heads, like each person. Right. And then they had the dog sitting there. It was a small dog. The dog, I've never seen anything like it. I thought, what's smiling? Like, this is a great thing. I don't know. Do we think this is great to have the dog suspended over your heads in some netting in a truck?
If they're not in the back of the bed and they actually are in like the cab and it's a double seat or something, then I would go, yes.
No, it's over their head. So the driver's driving and the dog is walking back and forth over the driver's head and the passenger's head in netting.
No, it's not netting. See, that's the breaking thing. Netting if it's enclosed, if there's a secondary enclosure. What people don't realize, and we've never talked about this, so it's something new for you. But animals, you see a lot of dogs who are hanging their head out of their owners' windows. Worst thing ever. And you're like, well, why? They love it. Well, they love it until a rock's in their eye, or they get hit by something that you don't see on the road. They're all over the road. Rocks, leaves, branches. God forbid you have a car accident and their head is outside the window. Yeah. So we either have decapitation or horrible injury. And it's the same thing why we have airbags. Animals don't understand airbags. People get their jaws broken by airbags. So you need to have a choice. You either put them in a carrier, you put them in a safety case like she did, and she filled it up with nice and soft stuff, because we cannot control the entire world of not to hit us or a tree fall on us or whatever. So you have to go to, okay, how do I get everybody there alive and healthy?
Exactly.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention was I walk a lot. I always have sunglasses. You will never see me walking without sunglasses, because I don't know if a rock's going to fly or something's going to fly up from. So to have an animal's head out of the window. KT, what are your thoughts?
No, I could never do it. Also, because she's 9 pounds, there's like no way. Like if I roll down this window, she's out of the window. She's so small. But I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't do it. I'd be too paranoid. I'm very much like a mom to my animals. Like it's pretty bad.
No, it's rightfully so. Unless you stop going to work, stop shaving, and never take a shower, then we don't have to have an intervention for you. Come on, we've all met those pet owners.
Oh yeah,
like, are you leaving?
For sure.
Please, your soap. I will buy it for you.
Oh man,
then you have to get him to use it. But
one thing I want to talk about, because you are an award-winning author, how, if it's possible, how do your animals ignite the creativity or those creative thoughts, the thought process?
I love that. Well, there's so much like nature in my book, and environmentalism, and also communication with animals. And I've always been the type that needs an animal. Like I've written business letter. When I first learned how to write a business letter in English class, I was 12. I mailed one to my parents. And I explained to them, like, using that formula, why I absolutely needed a dog. It did not work. It did not work, which is probably why a few years later I came home with a bunny, and I was like, okay, deal with that. Okay. So definitely like makes me feel, oh, well, I say that and he starts rattling the cage behind me. They definitely make me like feel more me, make me feel more inspired. And just like there's a connection between animals and humans that it's just inevitable. We are animals. We have a connection with nature around us. We are part of the earth, and we are like in the animal kingdom. And there's if you allow it, you can hear them and they're communicating something to you. So I don't know. I just like, I need animals in my life, and they definitely help me like anytime. And I'll write in this room with them too. Like and they'll chill, and I just love their energy. They're calming, they're very in the present moment. So it's different than being like surrounded by people all the time, which I mean, people are great. Yes. But when you're in your head space and like you're thinking and you're creating, I love that they're around me.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
Well, and the great part of what you're saying, Dr. Jacalyn, you said your puppies I've seen pictures of, that they calm us. They give us balance. They give us a reason to get up in the morning. The list goes on and on and on and on. And the least we can do is meet them halfway. The least we can do is bring them halfway, because they love unconditionally. They don't care. I had a client, and everywhere he went, everybody said, God, that man smells. And he drank profusely. And he was a great, working. He worked on a wildlife sanctuary I was working at. So he did a lot of hard work, but his animals were completely devoted to him because he was fair and kind. They didn't care what he smelled like.
Yeah.
They truly don't.
I happen to have a picture of my dogs. I haven't looked at this in a long time, but they all passed away. But the interesting thing is they had, well,
they're so cute.
Isn't that cute? And she's got them for Christmas, all decorated.
They're like puppets.
Yeah, they all died of cancer. So little Eiffel, this one here, she died first, then Star next, then Ritzy. And it's almost like they knew, like they didn't want to be without each other or something. I don't know. Is that possible?
Was it
Absolutely.
close together? Like,
I'm sorry.
If you really want to know how it feels like, for example, to go through the world knowing things or feeling things, that's what an animal does. Why did they make good guide dogs? Why did they make good assistants? Why did they just make a good pet for all of us? They found out hundreds of years ago in the caveman day, you get a dog, you'll eat faster because they'll help you in the hunt. And there's that pack mentality. Cats, not a pack mentality, but have their own way of being absolutely necessary in our lives.
How about bunnies?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Again, if you're going to switch up breed or type, or I have clients that have boa constrictors, and I'm thinking, okay. And I absolutely adore snakes. That's for a picture with my mom. I was probably about 15 at the time. I wrapped the conda around my neck and had them take a picture. And I gave it to her later, and she's like, "Are you kidding?" I was like, "It was fun."
Well, we're glad you enjoyed that.
Well,
I have a question.
And a restrictor does that for safety. That is their mechanism of, don't do this to me. I don't like this or that. They're going to constrict. Or you starved them to death. If they're happy, you know, that they're not going to eat you. First of all, they can't swallow us. We're a little big.
I just read
there's
there's a snake that did kill somebody. A snake ate an entire, a huge snake somewhere, I think in Africa.
Yeah,
but
they usually choke them to death.
Yeah. So the question I want to ask is, what is the difference between a bunny and a rabbit?
Well, zero there, but there's a jackrabbit. There is a blah blah rabbit. She can give you all those names too, because I did that when I was in 4-H. It's just like saying somebody who lives in Wyoming and somebody who lives in California.
So this means the same. Is that what you're saying?
All bunnies are basically, they have ears, they have tails, they're fluffy. Now they come furless, just like cats, because people were having allergy issues. You shouldn't. I don't want to give an all judgment, but it's wrong to change the DNA so strongly that just because you're allergic to their fur, they should lose their fur.
I did not know that they.
You didn't know they have furless bunnies and furless rats and furless dogs and furless cats.
I've seen furless dogs.
I've seen the dogs and the cats. The bunnies I have not seen.
Yeah, you don't want to find them because it breaks my heart.
Oh,
because
God.
They are having skin diseases that they would never have if they were way God intended it.
No, they need that coat.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
To make their own bedding. They make their fur out of their own bedding. Yeah, I'm not going to get on that boat. You got the point. Is I'm very much against hairless pets.
Oh yeah. It's like now that we know, it's many years we know not to declaw a cat.
Oh
like,
my gosh, yes.
And it's the same, like, don't, it's part of their nerves or whatever. Yeah, like it's their fingers, basically. You're chopping off their fingers. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, be aware of what the animal needs for living properly,
Oh, sorry. I was going to sneeze again. KT, I wanted to ask you, I just read somewhere about insurance companies dropping pet insurance. That's not going to be an offering. I know when I had my dogs, at some point I had pet insurance, then I didn't have pet insurance. Is there bunny insurance that you have?
I don't have it. No. I think
you could get it. It does exist.
I think you can. Yeah. I had looked quickly into it and I was like, I don't think it's worth it because maybe it's more expensive in Canada. I don't know. It's pretty expensive. And I was like, I'll just deal with the problem when it comes. It's not like I got bunnies because I know I could afford to take care of them. So it's like, first of all,
smart.
It's important that like, you don't think they're just like, I just keep them there. And, they're like we said earlier, there's a lot to do to take care of them. And there's their pellets if you want to give them pellets, and there's the veggies that you want to give them fresh greens, and the hay is expensive. They eat hay all the time. It's like I'm always buying hay. It's crazy.
If you had to put a number on it, excuse me, how much would you say you spend, like a range that you spend to take care of the bunnies?
Oh, Oh boy, I'm so bad at this. I'm bad at money and math. Like, this is a difficult question for me. So let me think. Their hay, I buy the really big 20-pound one, which comes to about $65 from the farms, and that's like every 4 weeks. And then their bag of pellets are maybe $30. They'll last also about 4 weeks. Canadian Tire hay. Then there's the checkups, which is like $500 for both bunnies annually. And then that's aside from like, if there's an issue, then you have to race them in. That could, like what happened to Onyx, one bunny, and that was $450. And because we had to give him, liquids, and we had to give him some food to like make sure he was eating and all that stuff. There, it came with a lot of stuff. So I don't know if that helps. If anyone's listening, yeah, it's monthly costs. Like,
yeah, it's you have to include it in your budget. You have to say, yeah, I need this amount of money every month to take care of them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think people, AMINAH, we've talked about this before, but I think people miss that. Maybe somebody in the family, maybe it's a child, I want to have a pet for Christmas or for my birthday, and oh, it's so cute and let's play with it. And then a year later, yeah, I'm not interested.
Especially Easter. Easter's the worst. I always put this message out on social every year. I say, buy chocolates, not bunnies.
That's great. That's
good. I like that.
Well, in Christmas, then you get all the dogs and the kitties and all of that type of stuff. And it doesn't matter that the pet industry has changed dramatically from having cages in the store to meeting breeders. Still, no one advocates. And I'm so glad you said that pets should be a gift. They shouldn't. They should be earned. I'm all for the families that say, okay, we're going to have you go work at a shelter for, let's say you have a teenager, or a lot of shelters will take kids 10 and up and have them clean cages. And you need to know how big the dog poop is. You really do. Really do.
Totally.
With cats, a lot of people don't realize if they get urine on them, their urine is very highly acidic and can literally eat the hair off the back of them if they're not in a clean environment. Cats love clean environments. They absolutely do. Dogs will move to the next yard.
Cats are so clean. Yeah.
Yes.
Gosh.
So one thing we've discussed while we're on the topic, I'm going to say of poo, P-O-O-H, is that it doesn't disintegrate. So people think you let your dog go. In fact, I witnessed this the other day. This neighbor a few houses down has unbelievable landscaping. I mean, we don't have any landscaping compared to this. And this guy is walking his dog and lets his dog go maybe 4 or 5 feet into the guy's lawn, onto his lawn to do his poo business. And I was like, what? I can't even comprehend it, because people think that it's just going to disintegrate. And I've heard people say it's good for the soil.
No, you got to.
They're not bunnies.
No, you got to pick up.
If they're going to eat just hay and good alfalfa, yes, go ahead. Use your bunny stuff there, but you can't use the urine. It's too highly acidic. So that's a bad thing. Dogs get everything. Cats get lots of things, and their dog food is processed.
Yeah.
Unless you buy organic.
Yeah.
And still, don't share your dog's poop. That's gross.
Now, KT, what about carrots? Do you feed your bunnies carrots?
Minimum.
Yeah, it's not like, it's more of a treat. It's not like an everyday thing. Yeah, because it's sweet, and the leafy greens are really what's good for them. Like, sorry, I'm sure I have bunny hair flying around. I'm
glad somebody else gets that.
Oh my God, all the time. Yeah, leafy greens. Bok choy is very good for them. They love their bok choy. Parsley is not an everyday thing either. Just more like, once in a while. Swiss chard also once in a while. You have to really research. Not all the herbs are good for every day. So that's another misconception of like, oh, it's green, give it to the bunnies. Like, there's certain even types of lettuce that you shouldn't be giving to your bunnies. So you have to look that up.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I had no idea. What would you say are some of the distinct personality traits of your bunnies?
They're so different. They're really different personalities. So I was telling you earlier before our call, Onyx, one with the black ears. He likes being pet. And he'll come up to me every time I walk into the room or by the room. He'll be like, "What's going on?" Like, what he wants to see where the action is. Sterling, usually, I call him more the cat. Like, he's really just like laid back. He finds his corner. He's happy just like being by himself. Once in a while, he'll bend his head because he wants to be pet. But like, he's a different kind of personality. And yeah, and then Onyx is a bit more playful too with Nessie, with my dog. They're pretty good together. Yeah, there's just like different, like one's more of a party animal, you know, and I see them jumping on the couch. The other one's like, "What are you doing up there?" Like, it's really funny. They all have personalities.
So cute.
I have to say they're gentle. Sorry, I just want to add, because you never know, like my other bunny, my dwarf bunny, who I love unconditionally, is kind of really mean. Like he was nice to me, he loved me, never bit me. But like he's hated my husband, who at the time we were dating, when I got, like, he's hated him since from beginning to end. Like he's just like, "I don't like you." Like he will snap, he would snap at him like all the time. And I think he like marked me or something, because he didn't have a buddy. He just had me. So I think he like, what's the word? He imprinted on me. So yeah, they're all very different personalities.
Absolutely. Have you tried making your husband the most delicious, wonderful person that walks into the room with any kind of, like food?
He was
or great petting.
So again, this is the old bunny that passed. This is
okay.
Magic, my first bunny, the dwarf. And yeah, we did all the things. We're like, we'd have him give him treats and everything. And he would like, it's so fun. Like, it's like the way he'd grab a treat from me was like nice. And the way he'd grab a treat from Andy's like, "Give me that." Unbelievable. Like,
too funny.
I love it.
Funny. I love them so much.
Katie, we have your website pulled up. We're actually coming to the end of the show. It's gone by so fast. I just want to show your website and then have you walk us through here. This is KatieAngelhart.com. So tell us a little bit about what's on the site, where you'd like people to go and look.
Oh, that's so sweet of you to do that. This is my site. You can subscribe to my newsletter. And you can scroll down there. There's access to my books. The Wise One is the first one, and The Twin Flame is the second one. They're the first two books in the Scottish Scrolls series. I am currently writing the third one, and they're also free on Kindle Unlimited. There's a nice link for you there if you want to check that out. And that's it. It's just like a lot of fun. There's a little bit about me on the site.
Look at that. We made it too.
You are there. Yes, you're there. I cannot say it yet because it's not published, but I just got an amazing review from an amazing magazine, and I cannot wait to share that with you all, and I cannot wait to put on my website, but I can't actually. I have to wait a whole month. I have to wait. It's killing me.
Well, congratulations. That's
exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. So if you
like a picture of you too.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Do I have magic in that picture? No, there's another one where I'm like sitting with books and my old bunny. I don't think it's there. We'll
go back up.
That's wonderful.
Thanks. And yeah, feel free to reach out. There's a contact form. Love talking to readers, love talking to, media people. If you want to chat with me in another capacity, absolutely.
And thank you to Mickey Mickelson for introducing you to our channel. Really appreciate it.
I'm a wonderful publicist.
All right. Well, Katie, what final words would you like to leave our audience with today?
My God, I was going to ask Amina the same question because I want to know more. This went by too fast. I want to know more about how she listens to animals and receives messages. Can we do we have time for that at all?
Sure.
Okay. And then I'll give you
want to know how I do what I do?
Yes, please. Like, what is it like? And then I probably come up with some wisdom for you.
When I was a little kid, I found out I was weird, as you know, with animal people, because I always spoke in the first person. When I was young, under 10 and under, I would say, "Don't do that. He said he didn't like that. Did you not see that he said he did?" And then you get that look on an adult's face, and they're like, I don't think she hears what I hear. So I didn't talk about it until after my 20s. And by then I had done all this research, gone to a lot of college, took the education. Animal science thought was where I was going to finish a degree to. I worked in the vet clinics, really just try to be round. I rescued a horse when it was only had a few more years to live, but they wanted to put it down and they didn't know what to do with it. So, you know, I've expanded. I absolutely adore snakes. I have many pictures with boa constrictors around my neck. And my mom was big with the Sunset Magazine people and for her, what she did. So I was in a couple of magazines with the boa constrictor around my neck.
That's
so
cool.
just immersing myself into what is this world? Because I've always heard them, but I didn't know anybody else did not. And I was probably about 9 or 10. And I told somebody, stop doing that. Don't you see? He told you he doesn't like it. And they looked at me like, what the heck are you talking about? And I went, ooh, I don't think I want to be that weird kid. So I'd stop talking about it. If you were my best friend or my husband, you heard about it, because we have 3 cats here. They're rescues. And a fun thing just for you guys is I have, you know how you have the cabinet above the stove and all that? Well, we've got, I don't know who puts anything in those cabinets, but there are wires and everything. And every year, and again this year, we have baby birds falling out of there.
Oh.
Because they refuse to nest away from the pipe. So this is year 3, and I'm up at, I don't know what time, 6, 8 a.m. I just happened to be, couldn't sleep. Now I know why. And I'm hearing, chip, 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 chip. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys are back.
My parents once found a nest behind in their fan over the stove. Like they had to remove the fan and everything. There's this little bird there. I couldn't believe it.
No, I didn't put any of the pieces back because we don't cook much. So the vent that it sucks from, it didn't need it. So I taped it all in. But all of a sudden, the first year it happened, we got 5 babies. I got 5 little bitty babies, not weaned off, nothing. Luckily, I took them to a sanctuary. They released them. They keep them wild, and they released them. So this is year 3. Luckily, I got 1 guy, and he dropped in twice. And I was like, dude, did you not learn anything yesterday? And I'll go out so people know I have a husk like basket. It's usually for plants, and I put them in the basket. Took him out to this big bush I had. His nest would have been just above me. So he did fly back the second day. It was very wonderful because he also calmed down. He realized I wasn't a threat. So
that's amazing. So I guess my final words I'm gonna use. I'm gonna like kind of hijack what you were saying. So I'm not a pet psychic. I wish I were, but I think you don't. Like for all those who love animals and feel like they respect animals, and you should absolutely respect animals. That's plenty to understand them and just like give them what they need, and yeah, just try to listen in the way they're moving and communicating in their own little special way, and that's it. I guess animals, they're the best. Like just absolutely,
if you can do just that, we'll all coexist better.
That's it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Your words are powerful.
AMINAH, what would you like to leave us with today as we close out? You're frozen.
Rescue, don't buy.
Yeah.
I'm doing an article right now on buying pets from breeders or backyard breeders, or those are our worst choice because they're not usually getting as much care or medicine as they need. They're not all. This is not an all, but if you are looking for a new pet, please go to the shelters. Those animals deserve a wonderful life.
And they know you rescued them. They do.
Yeah, they do know. All of ours are rescued. All three of ours came from different things. The youngest, the last adoptee, was a girlfriend of my daughter's who adopted her. We call her Emma. And she's a pile of fur, and she has attitude, and she is going to walk up your leg and say, give me that snack. And they had no idea how to deal with her at all. So they're like, I don't know what to do with this cat. I'm like, well, we'll take him for a little while until you decide. That was 6 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
But she's perfect in my pack because I have one really shy cat. That's the oldest one we have was my other daughter who moved out of the country. and another one, and that one says, I will smack you if you try anything. So everybody keeps everybody in line. We don't need to do a lot, but we do set the rules coming in. Everybody knows you be nice or you get to sit in a room all by yourself for a while.
More great tips that you've been sharing. And KT, thank you so much for being our guest. It's an absolute pleasure. We have to close out because our next show is coming up, but thank you, AMINAH, and thank you, KT.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Katie, for loving animals. I love you so dearly, just from here. Good, I will, and good vibes.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everyone, for watching, whether you're on the live or the replay. If you'd like to be a guest on any of our shows, please go to our website, usaglobaltv.com. And also, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. I checked, and we have already grown past this. I don't know what the latest number was, but it keeps going and going. So thank you to all of you out there. And do subscribe to our second channel, which is Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. All right, we are signing off for now. We wish you a beautiful weekend wherever you are in the world, and do come back and see us for our next show. Bye for now.